Drake automatically was gonna be motherfuckers wanted Drake to lose anyway. If I go through all that, and all these people say they turned against me or whatever, and I'm still the #1 stream rapper, I didn't lose. To me, that's just. But people have different motives of what they do this shit for.
Well, I actually agree with 21 Savage here because I went back into some older videos and I ended up realizing something that I feel not too many people touched on. Yet 21 Savage surprisingly hit the nail on the head in this interview. So I'll be coming at this idea from a bit of a different angle since I think analyzing it in a different way can teach us a better lesson to learn about the battle than just Kendrick is the GOAT and Drake isn't rap, for example. So just as a disclaimer, I'm not going to be talking about who won the battle. That isn't the point of this video, and who won doesn't particularly matter to me in this video. I want to address 21 Savage's points he made about how Drake was already at the top. The winning means nothing. And I think he's right about that. Drake is at the top numbers wise, but what 21 Savage really meant to say was that the battle is deeper than just rap beef. It's deeper than the idea of two guys just hating each other, and it's deeper than just two guys protecting legacies and trying to cement themselves as the top guy. Even though all those things are true, it's more about what these two guys represent in the eyes of the masses when talking specifically about why Drake can't win. I think this battle wasn't a physical one, but more of an ideological one. A battle between a man who seems to stand for the culture and authenticity versus a man who seems to be out to appeal to the masses rather than being authentic. And if there's one lesson to learn from this, if nothing else, it's that people can sense when you aren't being authentic and they hate it once they sense it. So I like to think of this battle as the culmination of what the public had been saying about Drake and had wanted to happen to Drake for so long, while simultaneously being the culmination of what the public wanted for Kendrick, what the public wanted for J. Cole, the big three, and just what the public wanted for rap as a whole. So let's just call a spade a spade. The masses didn't want Drake to win, and that is what killed Drake more than anyone else could have ever done to him. In rap battles, typically it's decided by the masses, and if you enter a battle already not being favored to win, that's one thing. But if you enter a battle not being favored to win and not being the one the masses desires to win, then you stand no chance. No matter how good you do, no matter what you say, no matter how it's executed, you always lose. And just like 21 Savage said, even if you outright undeniably won the battle, he would still lose. And there are so many signs of the public expressing what they wanted to see from the battle, whether they outright admit it or not. Like when the battle first started, we can look at examples like NFR, who in the beginning claimed they weren't sure who was going to win, probably because they didn't want to jump the gun and reveal who they believed would win.
Everything up.
Who wins?
Oh,
Who's gonna win this? It's
man,
too soon to say. You have to hear the tracks. You have to hear the tracks.
I have to hear the tracks. I have to see what happens.
Then in their next video, they basically say, well, we aren't sure who will win this, but basically we think Kendrick is going to win.
It's game over.
I will say this. I think that Kendrick in this situation, when you poke that bear, he is gonna fucking claw at you. But I will say this. This verse, as phenomenal as it is, both J. Cole and Drake are capable of topping it.
Yes,
now,
absolutely.
are they capable of topping what Kendrick does next? That I don't know.
That's a complete.
You can see the bias in real time. Well, we don't know who will win, but we're unsure if Drake and Cole have what it takes to defend against Kendrick after their first tracks. Right. Then they go on to simply admit that they did believe Kendrick would win all along.
Okay, give me your best shot and let's see who lasts. Let's see who ends up doing this. And right now, I'm in no position to say who's gonna win this because at first, if you would have asked me, our money was kind of on Kendrick Lamar because that's where the sentiment is, right?
Or Sean C, when he heard Like That, loved the rap performance from Kendrick. You can see a stark contrast between his reaction to push-ups, which is a great response according to him, in Euphoria.
Nowhere. Oh, and the drop and give me 50 bar. I think that was good too, because I forgot that Kendrick was doing push-ups in the part. I didn't he got a lot of lines in here that I think are just good. You know what I'm saying? you got to get in the lab. You got to get in the lab. I don't want to see Drake on social media. I don't want to see no laughing emojis on his Instagram story. I don't want to see him posting pictures of Chubbs or posting pictures of Baca or nothing. Like, I don't want to see none of that. Now, maybe he already has something, you know what I'm saying, cooking up. Redo it. Delete that song. Burn that hard drive. What Kendrick said, burn it.
You can look and see just the sheer energy difference from the artists at play. He even pulled up the lyrics to the Kendrick diss to analyze it even further. Now, I noticed this during the whole battle at the time. Everyone was searching and analyzing Kendrick's lyrics, but not as many people did the same for Drake. You especially saw that when Meet the Grams came out. Everyone was searching so hard to find evidence that Drake actually was hiding a daughter on Twitter. No one was digging up to find proof of the allegations levied against Kendrick though. Not to mention all the people making excuses for Kendrick and some of his screw-ups, like the constant reusing of other people's disses, for example.
There's another very brutal moment on this song. Now, this is a bit of information that going into this track, we all know, we all understand. And look, to Drake's credit, at least insofar as what he has presented to the public, he does seem to be more involved in his son's life at this point. But you know what? Being a deadbeat dad, you just have to kind of get caught doing it one time for it to hound you for the rest of your life potentially.
Right. Screwing up one time may result in prior allegations hounding you for the rest of your life potentially. He's right, but only if the people hounding you on it don't like you, are spiteful, and want to see you lose. We just sat back and watched Anthony Fantano say Drake actually is taking care of his son as far as we can see, but this is still scathing because, well, we believe at one point you were a deadbeat father, even if that's not the case anymore, so who cares? Throughout the entire battle, you can see a deep asymmetry in the hip-hop community, one that allowed for excuses, deep analyzations, and overall deep amounts of bias on the sides of Kendrick. This should go to show that as long as you have the approval of the masses, you almost can't lose. And 21 Savage was correct when he said Drake had nothing to gain from that battle. The public wouldn't allow him to win. It was never about bars. It was about how Kendrick made them feel relative to how Drake made them feel as a whole. This is ideological and philosophical more than it is rap.
Now, what I'm saying is, no matter what, he couldn't win. That was a rigged. It was rigged. I'm not saying that Kendrick rigged it or no shit like that. I'm just saying, just the culture and people in the world, it was a lose-lose situation.
Right. Battle was rigged from the beginning. If Drake won, it would have discredited him anyway. I know this for certain because Drake got out of a battle where he was going up against A$AP Rocky, The Weeknd, Rick Ross, Future, Metro Boomin, Travis Scott to a lesser extent, Kanye West, and Kendrick Lamar, where Drake proceeds to shit all over everyone besides Kendrick. If you believe Kendrick won the battle, that's fine. But more people remember Drake losing against Kendrick than they remember Drake destroying everyone else in the battle simultaneously. And keep in mind, each rapper that went at Drake are rappers that have classics, have contributed massively to classics, or both. And Drake destroyed them, but yet nobody cares.
We know that it was a 1v1 main event. So I feel like that was a strategy from Drake where he's like, well, maybe I'm going to earn respect if people think, oh, wow, he's not only going at Kendrick, he's fighting 20 guys at once. Look how impressive this is that he's throwing out, he's playing the Oprah. You get a punch, you get a punch. Like, he's just fucking going all out. I feel like he tried to earn respect, but in reality,
It backfired.
it backfired because everyone's like, why are you all the way over
But that,
there?
I think that was
Right. Even though Drake did have a reason to attack each of them. And it was impressive to see him dispatch all of them. But no one cared. And it's crazy, you can actually see at the end of the clip, he even tries to chalk this up to like the intellect of Kendrick and company. Like, yeah, you know, Drake destroys everybody, but you know, who cares, right? It doesn't matter. That's not gonna work. But it must have just been because Kendrick was so intelligent that he was able to somehow create these fake little pawns to throw Drake off. And that's how, I mean, come on, bro. This is ridiculous. What are you talking about?
that was a grand chess move again from Metro Boomin, Future, maybe Kendrick at this point.
And I can't find the clip, but there's a clip out there of NFR basically saying that Drake was expected to win, and it was a good, it was crazy that he was able to kind of destroy everybody, but he was expected to win, and the real battle was with Kendrick Lamar. And that's partially true because the real battle was with Kendrick Lamar. But I love that that was just a little attempt that they threw in to just discredit him over and over again. They always do this, it seems. And notice that throughout this entire battle, you can look, they've never said one bad thing about Kendrick at all. They haven't said, hey, this track isn't good. They haven't said, hey, you know what, that verse or the way that he did that was not, I didn't really think. Nothing. They've said nothing wrong with it at all. Even though they've acknowledged that it wasn't perfect, they've never actually said anything bad about Kendrick so far. I just wanted to say that for the most part, these guys did not say anything negative about Kendrick. NFR actually did release a video that I forgot about where they reviewed Euphoria when it first came out, and they had some kind of negative things to say about it. But for the most part, these guys weren't saying anything negative about Kendrick, which is really what I meant to say. I want to be more careful with my wording there. It seems like everywhere I look, there's some Drake hate. I saw a recent post of some guy talking about how Drake had apparently been the first artist to hit 125 billion streams or something like that. And the top comment was basically saying Drake was popular, but that doesn't suggest quality. Now, he's not necessarily wrong. But why is the first thing people think of, to throw nuances and explanations instead of just congratulating the achievement? It's perfectly fine to talk about numbers and flexing money and streams and etc. until Drake does it. So look, I'll just end it off with this. It was a great battle. I like to witness it and see the internet go up in flames the way it did. I had just wished that it was more of a pure battle and not so full of obvious bias and painful asymmetry like I mentioned before. It's very clearly obvious what the public wanted, and yeah, I'm surprised that 21 Savage actually was hit the nail on the head with this. And it's also more interesting too when you see that, this interview came out, and from what I've seen, I don't see anybody saying that what 21 Savage said was false. I don't see that. Everybody is just taking everything he said, and that's very telling. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say for the video. And yeah, until next time.
They want to tell the top niggas down.
Yeah, nah, for sure.
So
they come with it.
how can you win a battle when niggas want you to lose it? Even if you win, you lose.